I don't think Californians take the drought seriously at all. This has been going on for years. Everybody that I talk to says, oh, well, next year it's going to rain. El Nino's coming. I've heard people say, it's like, this has been 7-8 years this has been going on, and it's not getting any better.
No, it's certainly not. I'm John Bachman, and Miranda Khan, who is joining us now from our Newsmax newsroom. And we're talking about the situation in California, Miranda. California Governor Jerry Brown has imposed these statewide water restrictions in California, and it's the 4th straight year of this severe drought. These measures could cost $1 billion, never been taken before.
Yeah, and while the drought is a pain for green lawns and puts a crimp in long showers, so far it struck farmers the hardest. But our next guest says the hardest hit is still to come, and that blow is aimed directly at homeowners.
That's right. For more on this subject, we turn our attention to Pej Barlavi, the CEO of Barlavi Realty. He's staying with us also, or he's joining us, and staying with us is Larry Elder, Newsmax contributor, also joining us from the left coast. Larry, you're dealing with this on a day-in, day-out basis, but Pej, let's get your take here. This could have significant impacts on the California real estate market, which is difficult to begin with. What do you think the consequences are in the short term as we talk about the situation with the drought?
I think you're going to see a deficit of development and housing projects coming up, especially hitting the summer months when it gets to be very busy. You're going to see everybody hit, from the home sellers to the home buyers. You're going to see that in the coming months, especially in the summertime. It's going to get hit pretty hard.
So, Larry, I have to ask you, you're out in California. Do you anticipate a buyer's market on the West Coast, thereby dropping the property value?
I'm not a real estate expert. I really don't know. I've heard different things. My problem with this whole drought business is that droughts, of course, are God-made, but shortages are man-made. I'm old enough to remember, John and Miranda, the 70s when we had gasoline lines, and Ronald Reagan came in, he removed the price controls, the lines went away. Water is a commodity just like gasoline, and we ought to have the prices dictated, and the people who use it dictate what the prices are. We don't do that now. We allocate it. It's a collectivist system, and that's what's caused the shortage.
Well, there has been some comparisons to this drought being of biblical proportions, but there is a human element involved here, Larry. There's certain environmental groups have wanted to restrict water flow in parts of the area. You have the agriculture, the agribusiness there, taking a lot of the water here, and you have territorial rights with different states wanting access to different rivers here. There's definitely a human element involved in all of this. Pej, when you look at this, is there much that people can do, or much the government in California can do, or much anybody can do to get people to take a different approach to this particular drought?
Sure, you got to really push the water conserving appliances such as washer dryers, dishwashers, all the home appliances. They got to bring in the more water conserve, the flush systems that use less water. You got to put that into effect right away and make the developers that are building these properties to implement those in right away. I know for a long time, I grew up in California. My parents still have a house there. They live there. They recently changed their front lawn to a more less grass, water eating grass. So they have been doing that for several months now. They need to really push this much harder.
Well, Larry, it seems like it's the homeowner here who might be getting squeezed a little bit. And of course, everybody can do more to conserve water around their house, but it's the bigger industries like the agribusiness industry that really are sucking a lot of this water away, right?
Absolutely right.
And they have the lobby to get the kind of legislation that's favorable to them.
That's right. Consumers use only a small percentage of the water in California. Most of it goes to agriculture. And as I mentioned before, let the prices reflect the demand. People will then change their behavior. As your guest just now said, a lot of people are planting these lawns that don't consume as much water. As long as the prices reflect what they're doing, people will modify their behavior the way they do with any other commodity that goes up.
Well, lettuce and tomatoes and almonds and avocados could all get very, very expensive if that is to be the case. Serious situation in California, and a difficult political one, too, for Governor Jerry Brown as well. We want to thank Pej Barlavi for being with us on this segment. Also, Larry Elder for sticking around with us for the entire second hour of America's Forum. Great, as always, to talk to you, Larry. Pej, thanks you very much for your help and your insight on real estate matters. You got much more coming up here on America's Forum. We're going to talk about the role Florida could play, both in the primaries and the general election. Money and Iran, two big issues that are going to be difficult for the candidates to deal with. That's coming up in the third hour of the program. Here ahead very shortly.